You're friendly, unabashed cup cutter. I slice through the turf like warm butter, planting dreams in the grass, one putt under. You're friendly, unabashed cup cutter.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's me, your friendly unabashed cup cutter. As you guys can see here, I have Chris Warrick, the superintendent of Saddlebrook, to have another conversation because one was just not enough.
Yes, sir.
Chris, brother, thank you for wanting to be back on.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. Obviously, like you got, as you know, this is just a conversation between you and I. There's no camera. I'm really stoked to come back here again. It's just that's from my OnlyFans page. Don't pay no attention to it. But no, I just want to say thank you for wanting to be back on.
Yeah, of course.
Like I just told you, man, literally, bro. Like people had a few folks have reached out. They wish that conversation was longer and to get to know you more and Kyle. So again, thank you again for wanting to be on because I'm very excited to talk about what you have here to offer. Your stamp in the golfing world. And I've actually told this to a few guys, but you told me what you told Matt, of leaving your stamp in the world. Mm-hmm. That's like a passive income type of way, like your mark. So I'm very excited to talk to you about that and everything. So for those that maybe not seen that episode where I talked with you and Kyle from Saddlebrook, we really did talk a lot about the golf course itself, the renovations. I just got finished playing the Pine course. Greens were fast, man, and not even just that, man. Those greens were gnarly. I think it was the second hole where it was like in a bowl. Mm-hmm. Dude, crazy, dude.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, man. So again, I want to get to know about you more, right? Because it's just you and I, right? So again, where are you from, and how did you get into golf?
Yeah, so originally from Memphis, Tennessee.
Yep.
And I got into golf because I joined the Army. I did
right.
1 year in college, joined the Army because I really didn't know what I wanted to do.
Yep.
Right. I knew I liked ROTC. I did that while I was in my first year. And the ROTC commander said, hey, we can't contract you unless you go to basic and AIT, right? And then you come back and we can do this form and bring you into ROTC that way. And I said, oh, okay, cool. I went to basic and I just loved it. I had so much fun. And I was like, it felt, that was like something for me.
Yeah.
So when I got back, I was kind of in between semesters and I needed a part-time job.
Yep.
My parents went to church with Jim Thomas, who was at the time, he was the superintendent at TPC Southwind.
Okay.
And he needed somebody to rake bunkers and walk mow greens and, shake out pine straw. And,
of course.
And I needed a job. So.
And that was at what, 17, 18, 19? Or?
I was 19.
Wow, yeah.
Yep, 19. So I went there, raked some bunkers, shook some pine straw out, did a couple of PGA Tour tournaments under him. I really liked being outside. I really liked the job. Yeah. I told you this at the last podcast. I took a video or a picture, of the day I realized I wanted to do it. Right.
Yeah.
It's on my Facebook. It pops up every now and then.
Yep.
And so I just asked him, hey, how do you do this? He told me, hey, go to school for this. Long story short, the school that I had already previously attended, UT Martin, had a turf program. It still has a turf program. It's run by Dr. Wes Totten, and he's awesome, an incredible human being. And anyways, my boss, Jim Thomas, hooked me up with Wes when he came. He would volunteer for every tournament. So he hooked me up with them. I went back to UT Martin, transferred majors into the turf grass. Yeah. And then that was kind of it. So I did all my internships at Southwind and then kind of went from there. Yeah.
It's awesome, man. It's funny, like when you mentioned that before, I remember when I was doing the editing, we were doing the editing for your episode, and I did comb through your Facebook a little bit, the other thing. I'm like, dude, he wasn't kidding.
Yeah, that's not the picture though.
Yeah, I know. That's why I put a little thing on here. Like, this is not the picture, but this was from.
It's on there though. Yeah. I'll have to send it to you after.
Yeah, I would love to post it again here right now. But you were doing spraying by like pushing the.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, spray hawking. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That is crazy, man.
Probably going to go back to that, to be honest with you.
Why is that?
So you may or may not have seen it on the new greens, but we had a lot of issues with the firmness coming out of the renovation this year. We'd send the spray rig across, and we'd get these little grooves. And every time we do it, we'd have to go get a barrel roller, and send a 3-ton barrel roller across it to smooth them out. So it got to be kind of a headache. And these greens with this renovation, it's kind of the one thing that's eluded us is that firmness.
Yeah, because I haven't got a chance to settle yet.
Exactly. So when we did phase 1 of the renovations, we didn't really have an issue with that. So we had 3 hurricanes, right? We had
That's right.
3 months in a row where we almost set the rainfall record back to back to back. And those greens were as hard as a rock. And I never had any issues with grooving. I never had any issues with mowers going across them. But these greens, we just never had that rainfall.
Wow.
This year was so dry.
Yep.
We really couldn't get enough water on them to compact them.
Yeah.
In that
I can understand
manner,
that.
right? I probably ran the barrel roller across them, a dozen times.
Still hasn't just settled yet.
Yeah,
because it was a 2-year renovation that you guys did, right? Wasn't it about?
So it was in 2 phases.
Okay.
Right. So phase 1 was the driving range. So we have this beautiful old driving range behind us.
Yep.
That's been abandoned, but we had to relocate this driving range for phase 1. So we used to be 36 holes.
Okay.
We cannibalized 6 holes for the driving range. We moved the driving range into those 6 holes, obviously.
Yep.
And then phase 2 was an 18-hole renovation. So we redesigned the layout where we had 2 18-hole courses. We kind of took a blend and took a couple holes from each course, and now you see how they snake through each other.
You saw that. You have all the signs going 8
Exactly.
this way, that way. Yep.
Yeah, so they snake through each other, but they all return back to the resort, which is
Still awesome.
was one of the main goals of the project. So every time you finish 9 holes, you're basically back at the snack shack
It was
and
perfect.
the super pool and all that, right?
Yep.
So they did a really good job with that. They created a new hole that is completely unique out of it. It ended up working really, really well.
Yeah.
So,
But it's so funny that you say that, though, the fact that those greens, though, man, I know they were fast today. They were fun. I will say that. The for those that have not been out to Saddlebrook yet, the new Pine course, those greens were fun. A couple times where whoever cut the cups yesterday, I mean, it was like right at the crust. Like that's, as you know, I love cutting cups. I love playing with the greens, but they were still within reason. They were all
Fair.
awesome. They were all very fair. They were all just perfectly placed and fun. And I had a blast. The guys and I had a blast.
So, like, in terms of cutting cups,
Yeah.
right? So I like to hire guys who golf.
Of course.
And when I hire guys who golf, that's typically one of the first things that I teach them to do, especially if they hold a handicap,
Of course.
because they can understand what a bad pin location is.
Of
And
course.
that's a little harder to teach to some new guys that maybe don't know golf.
Of course.
So, hey, slopes and, you want to put it here, but not around this bad area.
Of course.
But guys who golf, they get it so fast.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer just
Absolutely.
So a couple of your buddies work for me.
Of course.
And they cut cups. So,
Yes, of course.
yeah. So whenever you're coming, I let one of them cut the cups.
Oh, that's
usually,
awesome.
and-
It was, like I said, we had a lot of fun on the in both tracks and both things that we played today. It was Pine and Oak, I think it was.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh man, it was a lot of fun. And that's the thing, like you just said too, is like I actually just made a video not that long ago, and actually somebody had a question about pin placement, like do I get the side? But the biggest thing is like it's we take a lot of things into account. Yeah. Weeds, whatever may be, a previous cup, all that. Make sure the plug is nice and straight and everything like that. And I've told this to a bunch of guys. Just had a little function not that long ago. Like when I go to another golf course, I'm not judging that type of stuff. I'm there to enjoy the game. You know what I mean? I'm not saying, oh, this course, their cups are bad, whatever.
Yeah,
That's not my goal. I don't do any of that type of shit. The only type of things I do was like, okay, pin placement, if that's in a bad spot, come on now. If I'm rolling a ball, obviously I don't have the, what's it called? The little meter that you put.
Stim meter?
The stim meter, whatever, where it tells you the angles and everything, the degree.
Oh, okay.
I think it starts with a B, Bushmaster or Beastmaster, whatever it may be. But I just like to use it as if you roll a ball and it does a U-turn, that's a bad spot. You know what I'm saying? We never had that issue. It was a lot of fun, man.
So typically I tell the guys to roll 3 balls
Yes.
at a spot.
Yes.
If they all stop,
Yep.
within a similar
course.
area and one of them doesn't carry on, that's pretty decent spot.
Of course, yes.
Just look around, make sure it's nice, make sure it's clean.
Yes.
Make sure there's not a cup right next
Of
to it.
course, that's
you know?
yeah, of course.
We have pin locations. We have a pin sheet that the guys use, and
Yep.
I go through on those pin sheets, and I like X out locations where slopes are,
Of course.
just to give them a little tip. You
Yeah,
know,
of course.
but they have 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yep,
and
yep. Yeah, because your greens are huge.
They are big. Yeah.
Yes.
That was a big emphasis as part of the renovation as well, is to increase the size of the greens.
Yes, man. Because I mean, you put Tampa Palms for the run for their money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just the fact that some of these greens, like, and I say this again countless times, the pin placements were fun and fair, but the fact that they were so undulating, just like a couple of them, like holy shit, like you got to hit this ridge to let it roll down, and then if you miss that next ridge, you're gone. Oh, they were so much fun. Oh, dude, it was so much fun. So I think we might have talked about it before briefly, before we talk about you being the superintendent and everything like that. But I'm going to say it again. You know, I like to have a quickie. So that way, then, for those that have not watched this episode that are more central towards you,
Sure.
your fuck quickie, 5 quick questions.
All right.
Let's do it. How many practice swings?
Just one.
Your favorite shot or club?
I think I said a 8-iron draw.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
a good one.
I stick by that. That's my kind of go-to at the range.
Yeah.
I just sit there and I'll hit the 8-iron for a little bit and just try and get that shot shape
Oh.
I'm looking for.
That's a good bend. I mean, especially when you're on a dog leg. Music or no music?
I go both ways. So it depends. So when I'm practicing on the range, I have earbuds in.
Yeah.
When I play golf, depends on who I'm playing with and their temperament, but usually there's a little bit of music going.
Of course. As long as we're not battling music.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No, it's like Jimmy Buffett, that kind of
Of course.
stuff.
Oh, man, I'm all chill, relaxed. Absolutely. When you're putting, do you read the green or you just hit it?
I read.
You have to hear.
I mess myself up, though.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I actually am more intuitive. So when I don't read, I usually hit better putts.
Yeah.
Like I played maybe 3 or 4 months ago at my father-in-law's country club.
Yep.
And there's a par 3. I was probably 120 feet. It was a jelly bean shape, kind of. And I was on the right side, and the pin was on the left side.
Shit.
And he said, "Yeah, just hit it to the right." And I got up, and all right, I have no chance of making this putt. I just kind of eyeball it, and I whacked it and sunk it.
Yeah, right.
For
Oh,
birdie.
my God.
Only birdie of the day, 120 foot.
You didn't even pay no attention to it. And then last question, though, driver or passenger?
I like to ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, turn my brain off, not think too much.
I need a good driver. So today, I drove today, and I'm getting tired of it. Like I said before, said in countless episodes, Bobby from 4-4 Golf, I love you, buddy. I will never be the passenger with him again. But after today, it's like I just wanted to relax. I just wanted to shut my brain off and not, like here I am looking for bumps. We're in the roots because we went out close to the edge or whatever. But yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to give that passenger shit a try.
Yeah, Kyle's a great partner for that. If you can get to play golf with him.
Yeah,
he's great.
No shit, man. I'll tell you what, though. We played with David Hill today. David Hill used to work here in the restaurant.
Oh, really?
I knew for David Hill. He's an Army guy. He goes to McDill. He's out that way. David Hill. He's Intel, I believe. But man, you thought he was a putt reader machine. Dude, he was so... You don't need putt view. You don't need VR glasses. We sunk so many putts because he knew how to read the green. I'm not kidding.
Awesome.
I wish we had it recording, man. We must have sunk some good 20 to 30 foot putters on your greens. Dude, he was so good. He knows how to read the putt. The sad part is we still lost, even though he run us the putt. But no, man, it was so... Again, your greens were so much fun today. The course was so much fun. God, I can't wait to come back, man. It was such a good track, dude.
Yeah,
You guys did really good. I'm really impressed, man. Not just because I'm a greenskeeper, but as a golfer. Mm-hmm. I truly enjoyed it. I wish more people would come out here. They really need to. So shit, man. So let's talk more about you and being a superintendent.
Sure.
There's a lot of balance, right? Before we talk about, because it's in camera here, before we talk about your new thing you have going on here, you talked about how you got into working at a golf course, getting more of the drive for it. What was that turning point for you to want to make it a career, though? What was the one like you really wanted to be a superintendent, to be a leader, to really like, I get to make the decisions for a golf course? What was that point?
Yeah, so I think it was about the same time my first son was born. You know?
Okay.
And, I think there's something to be said behind every great man's a woman that is pushing them into greatness, right? So I got to give a shout out to my wife.
Ditto, absolutely.
Right? Because I don't think I'd be where I am today if it wasn't for her. Cause,
Agree.
you know, it's easy for me to, you know, sit back. Like, you know, I was pretty content in my career as an assistant, you know, and then I had a couple opportunities come up to move down to Florida, and that just kind of really started the ball rolling. Then when my first son was born, that really was like, hey, it's time to, you know,
progress.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's time to figure it out and push and
Dude,
go.
And here you are, man.
And I have some good mentors and stuff too that have helped with all that.
Of course. That's the biggest thing is like you don't know what your vision or your driver goal is going to be without that mentor.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I had a lot in the military, which, as you know, being in the military, having a great mentor, give you that great advice, to give you that great push, whatever it may be, to make you a better person. Exactly. Either a soldier, an airman, or a man, or a superintendent. You know what I mean? Oh, that's amazing. So, being the superintendent here at Saddlebrook, what would you say that your biggest, I guess I would say speed bump, whatever it is, maybe. Yeah. When you become being a superintendent?
So I think this is pretty universal at most clubs these days, but labor, you know, hiring quality guys is a challenge, especially, you know, when you have budget constraints and stuff that you have to work around, right? So, of course. You know, Saddlebrook as a whole, right now, we have an impressive product that we've been able to present, but, you know, it was kind of a scratch and claw to get to this point, right? So I was going through my numbers the other day, and in my system, I can see everybody who I've hired versus everybody who's still on. You know,
cool.
Everybody who I've hired is on the sheet, and everybody who's still here is green, and everybody who's not here is red. You know, and I probably have 15 guys that are green that are still here, and I've probably hired 60 guys since I've been here, right?
Wow.
Whether they've been, you know, terminated or whether they've left for their own accord, you know, there's a bunch of different reasons why one or the other, but, you know, hiring quality guys in this industry is getting tougher and tougher, and that's why I'm sure when you're at the show, you saw all the automated machines.
You're right.
So, yes. That's coming. That's the future.
Man, the most, it's funny they talk about it. For the folks that we were just talking about, I was at the GCSAA, Golf Course Superintendents Association of America, 100-year anniversary. We were at with one of you guys that works for you. We were over there by, I can't remember the actual company.
What color?
It was blue and
Firefly.
black, where they had like 6 screens, and you could control 6 different mowers. On the remote. So anyway, that mower could be automated, right? But even so, there's still a seat if you need to hop in.
Okay.
So you can still, they're still big, almost like the size of a 4500, like a Toro 4500. So it had the whole GPS, all the sensors and shit like that, but you could still jump in the hot seat. But what's crazy was, I'll post a picture right here. It was like a little video game with 6 screens. And you can see where each mower's going, predetermined, and then if you have to take control of that mower, wow.
That was one thing I saw I thought was really cool that I was not expecting to see was the video game seat with the control for driving the mowers. And when me and a buddy of mine were walking the floor, we saw that. I said, oh.
There's the back.
Because then as a manager, you can walk out of your office and your crew is all sitting right there operating equipment. And you don't have to drive, 15 minutes down the road. Or drive around the course to find them. They're all sitting right there. I thought that was a really interesting new product.
If we can send guys out, quote unquote, drones out, and take care of business downrange when they're in Vegas, right? I mean, like we're doing that time. Why can't we do it on the golf course?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, it's amazing.
That was incredible. That was one that really I actually stopped. I don't stop and look at many booths because I've seen a lot of this stuff and it's all more or less the same,
Because you went there on Thursday, right? Was
on Thursday? Yeah.
So what was your impression then? What was your overall, before we talk about, what was your impression of it?
The show in general?
Yeah,
it's great. They do a great job. The GCSA. Obviously, I'm a member of the GCSA. I'm a Class A. I've been, a member of it for probably 10 years. At some point, I know I was a member as an assistant, and then I left, and I came back. But they do a great show. The show's awesome. Amazing. The the educational events that are available.
Yes, the day on Tuesday was amazing.
They bring the who's who of speakers out,
of course,
and there's just no shortage. And I think as a superintendent, it's really important to attend and go see those speakers. Regardless if you're there for the the credits or not.
Exactly. Yeah. That was like I told you before in the text messages that we said back and forth. Man, it's like I cannot wait to go again next year. I had more fun. Maybe because I suck at golf, I don't know. I had more fun looking at equipment, looking at the latest rake. We had 6 guys. Exactly. We were over by Tacit from the UK, from over across the pond. We had 6 guys looking at a new rake.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just
that's all those things. That's not the stuff I look at. Yeah. Right? It's just like
I just thought it was amazing.
It's all tried and true.
Of course.
Just stick with what you know.
Of course.
Nothing's going to change that much in that realm.
And I will say that too, right? So I went around and looked at a lot of cup cutters. Obviously, that's the thing that I do. And when I was looking at Parade's new, that thing was too heavy.
Yeah,
the big one that
mess
changes.
With any of them. Yeah.
Because if you think about it, right? Like I was talking to one of the reps there. I'm like, I'm a big guy. I have no issues picking this up and bringing it over. But
I'll tell you, you're a big cup cutter guy. I'll tell you this. So, I went to the Masters for the first time last year.
Yep.
With a group of superintendents, and we set up looking over 16 green, and probably the most culture shock I had at the Masters as a superintendent is the guy who cut their cups was using a foot setting cup cutter. Yeah. He used his foot. It was one of the ones where you push it down with your foot. And I was kind of thrown back by that. I said, really? But here's the thing, and you know this. Cup cutting, it's all in the operator, right?
Of course.
I've done 5 tour events as either an assistant or an intern. Every cup cutter that was used on those events is the standard.
Just really pulley lever.
Yeah, pulley lever cup cutter. Yep. And it's always your best guy on your crew. Yeah. And he loves it. That's his thing. That's what he wants to do.
So it's kind of, here's what's funny real quick. Before I don't want to talk, I got to talk about more about you.
Yeah.
But you know how this past week I was training one of our guys on the team, right? And I talked to him on Super Sam. I was like, man, it feels weird letting go of my baby. I love cutting cups.
It's a pride thing, right?
Honestly, it really is, man. It really is. Like I take pride in my cups, and I want everything that I know about cutting a cup, like use the cup setter. Don't use the stick. Use the cup setter. That's what it's for, to get that proper length. You know what I mean? I kept reiterating to the guy I was training. I'm like, use the cup setter. That's what it's there for. Don't just use it. That's what it's there for. So yeah, so they use the foot cup cutter. Wow.
Yeah, you can find it in the Parade. I think Parade sells one. But I've never used one. I never have. I've always used the lever actions or the Hyos, and those are both perfectly great. And happy with both and the quality of either.
Just keep it simple.
Yeah, that's what. So I've seen the new ones where you can put the drill on it, and I'm like, who has time to sit there for 30 seconds and drill down a cup? And nobody does, because usually when you're cutting cup, my motto with a cup cutter is, when I train them, I essentially tell them, hey, you're the last guy on the green. You're typically the last guy to come through. You're on cleanup, basically, right? If you see anything out of place, your job is to catch it, and then you go on, right? So if and typically you're getting golf balls hit at you as you're cutting cups. You're you're that close. You're that close to the golfers, right?
Yeah.
So I don't fool with all that mess. It's just not for me, but. And I'm a big believer in tried and true.
Oh, of course. Absolutely, yeah. But no, you got a good point. We are the last, I won't say line of defense, but when we're blowing up, any leaves are left over.
Right?
Or if when they're hand watering, if there's a hose mark from the sand or whatever.
Exactly.
Well, I'm the last guy there. I got to take it. Oh, something might have been left to put on the cover on the thing. That's what I'm there for.
Exactly.
You're right, the last line of.
Last eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Yep. Because you got to take pride in it. So shit, man. So, what would you say is the one thing you have to deal with the most, or you prefer to deal with, pests or diseases? What's the two? What would you say that's your number one that you have to deal with, or you have to know more knowledge with? What would?
So, that's a great question. They're kind of equivalent, right? Okay. They both have their seasons, and they both have their, damaging effects. And if you ignore either for too long, they're gonna bite you, right?
If you ignore mole crickets, it's going to do one thing. If you leave the fungus, it's going to do another.
Right. So this time of the year, we put more resources into disease control. It's You know, we got a little help from Mother Nature this year with the cold weather.
That's right.
So there's kind of a threshold that we sit in Tampa specifically, where our highs are in the 70s and our lows are in the 50s and like high 40s. That also kind of matches perfectly like Pythium disease weather, right? So and Tampa is just naturally a humid place, right? So even in the winter we have humidity. So we put a lot of resources here into just Pythium management throughout the winter, right? We'll get some high days where we'll get up into the 80s. You know, we got some of those coming. And then we had a really awesome cold front come through that put us down in the 30s. You know, where the high was in the 50s, and that takes us below the disease threshold essentially. So we still do our preventative maintenances, right? Our preventative practices. But if you don't prepare for it in this weather, right? If you're not doing your preventative practices, you're gonna get caught, right? It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
And then it's that recovery process afterwards.
Exactly.
Because it's a lot harder to recover than to do preventive. Absolutely.
Well, this time of the year, you're pretty much not going to recover, right?
Exactly.
You're kind of stuck until spring.
Exactly.
Right? And so that's kind of the goal, right? And part of my job as a superintendent is to try and anticipate these things as far ahead of time as possible. You know, even so far ahead as like making sure we have the right dollar figures allowed in the budget for the following year to make sure that we have anticipated for those things, right?
Of course.
So I've done a big push, you know, with ownership, and they've been very receptive where we've been able to get more resources on this property, and we've been able to get to that point.
Good.
Right? So that we can be preventative. So
of course,
you know, the kind of the gist is the lower your budget is, the more reactive your budget is. The higher your budget is, the more preventative your budget is.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
So if you can be preventative, you know, you can be a winner.
True.
Right?
No, very true. No, you got a very good point there. Shit, absolutely. But that's the crazy thing, like we just said, is like, you know, it's doing everything beforehand as best that you can to prevent the headache afterwards.
Exactly.
Especially this time of year. I mean, it's like I know we were talking about how I was talking to our super and everything like that. I need to work more on, and I got a little, I won't say a little lazy, but I wasn't paying too much of the grain, you know what I mean, of the grass and such like that. So that's how to retrain and be more cognizant of myself when I train the new guy. And then unfortunately we can't do, you know, vertical cut for a little while, you know what I mean, just because it's not time of the year to play with that type of stuff. So yeah, man, it's well, shit. So before I only have really one other question before I want to really talk about this and your stamp on the golfing world, and when it comes to Dr. Agronomy, all that shit with greenskeeping. If you weren't being a superintendent right now, what would you be doing? I already know you're military.
Yeah,
you already know that.
That's the easy answer.
I mean, right?
So, yeah. So, I'm good at Army. Like I'm so naturally good at just being in the military. It really makes me question like why I do this sometimes, because I just love it. I don't know how else to say it. I love every minute of it. You know. And I'm like everybody else. I'll moan and complain, and
that's what we do in the military.
That's part of being in the military. It's part of the fun, right?
Exactly, yeah.
But I just have so much fun, and it's going camping. You know, like
oh my god,
it's going camping. It's being with the boys.
Oh, 100%, man. I was telling that to my boys the other day. It's like, did you miss us? I'm like, of course I missed you boys when I was deployed. Yeah. Of course I missed you when I was gone. But I mean, it's like, we're out there doing a mission.
You got
Doesn't matter what branch it is. You have one job to do.
You have a job,
and that's it.
Yeah, you do your.
What would you say then? Talking about your military, like what would be like your one veteran story, like your one memorable moment right now? Because I know you're still in. So like, what would be like your one memorable moment?
My favorite thing that happened to me when I was in Afghanistan is we were on a mission, and it was going from day to night. Right?
Okay.
So I'm a combat engineer at 12 Bravo, so we did route clearance while I was over there.
No shit.
And I was there in 2018, so route clearance had changed a little bit, and we were doing some like NATO force training. So basically, when I was there, we were kind of preparing the NATO forces for taking over control of Afghanistan, if you will. So when we would go out on missions, we would have a NATO force that would tag along with us.
Yeah.
So the NATO force that was attached with my platoon was the Czech Republic Infantry.
Too cool.
Which I would like to shout out to those guys because they all look like special forces. Every single one of them. I don't know how they do it, but they're all super cool. And,
Yeah.
yeah, so they would, we would go out, we'd do our route clearance, we'd be in the front, and they would follow us. And, you know, we were going on this mission from day to night, and we got to this little town. And I don't know what you know about combat engineers, but our trucks are really big, right?
Did you
drive
guys
them
have the
around.
extra plates on the side and everything too, or no?
So we have the V-shaped hull trucks.
Correct, yep.
Right? So they're really large, and then they're really tall.
Correct.
So, and we also have this one truck called the Husky that's basically a mine detecting vehicle, right?
Is that
So-
the one that where you can? It's like it has the big extension in the front.
Yes, the
Yeah.
panels.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So the problem with the Husky is it's not very maneuverable because it's so long. So we're going
That's
through
right.
this tiny little village, and there was a 90-degree turn that we had to make, and
Oh,
one
shit.
side was like a creek, and the other side was buildings. So he couldn't make the turn. So I'm in the lead truck, and I'm the dismount sergeant, basically in charge of the dismount. Which our dismount's like in this operation, it's like 5 guys, right? So it's not like a huge dismount.
Yeah.
So, anyways, he can't make the turn. He radios to us. I said, all right, let's jump out. I told my dismount guys, I said, all right, you guys are going to be in front of me. Don't let anybody get to me. And you guys are going to be behind me. Don't let anybody get to me. I'm going to push the panels up so he can turn. You guys just keep the crowd back, right? So, so we're working, right? And out of nowhere, you know, it's dark, and there's this huge crowd that shows up out of nowhere. And I'm pushing the panels, and I'm kind of struggling because I'm trying to get them to slide back. And then out of nowhere, these 2 Afghani guys come up, and they start helping me push. So one, I look over at my dismount.
What the fuck, dude?
I said, "What are you
doing?"
I said, but they were super nice.
Yeah, of course, but still.
You know, yeah, I could have
Oh,
been, you know. So they helped me push, right? And anyways, we get the panel and the truck turns, and then I have my back turned, and something hits me really hard, and it like picks me up, right? So a donkey, like a miniature donkey, had come out of an alleyway, and it ran into my back. I guess it got scared from the crowd or something. It ran into my back.
Your back, like you.
It ran into my back, but it ran under my butt, and it like picked me up, and it carried me for about 5 feet, and I hit the ground, and I jumped.
Of course.
Ah! You know. And then all the Afghani people were laughing.
Oh,
I was
shit.
laughing. It was the
So
funniest
cool.
thing. It was the funniest thing, but that was my favorite thing that happened while I was in Afghanistan. Yeah.
Too cool. How fun is that? The fact that you in a way, you became, I want to say like one of them, but I mean, you were vulnerable.
Dude,
You-
yeah.
They were there to help you out, and you, how
But at
cool
the
is-
time, dude, I just told my guy, let's get back in the
Yeah,
truck.
yeah, of course, of course.
Everybody back in the trucks.
But the fact that you told your boys, your guys, your discount
Combat
guys,
donkey.
watch me, don't let anybody hear me, and next thing you're like, oh shit, okay, thanks you
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Motherfucker, do your job.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh man, that is awesome.
No, my guys, they were good, man. There was a big crowd on one side, and these guys came up, you know.
Wow.
And, you know, they were just as nervous as I was,
Oh,
right?
Of
It's like-
course, man. You don't know. It could just take one wrong move. It could take
Exactly.
one wrong move, one top
Yeah.
of, but the fact that you were in a way vulnerable because you're
Yeah.
trying to put this up, you don't know what's going on here.
Well, yeah.
And the fact that those guys are like, okay, his guys over there. Wow, that's amazing. What an awesome story.
So it was fun.
Dude.
It was fun. It could have been, you know, things could always be bad. and,
Oh,
you
of
know, all
course,
bad
man.
Stuff, but it was a
Of
good time.
course. Oh, that is awesome, dude. Dude, thanks for sharing that, bro. Dude,
Yeah,
thank you
of
again for
course.
your service, and keep doing it, man. That's awesome. That's something that I truly envy any veteran, not envy, but you know what I mean, that we can connect with. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We all bought DVDs from the Haji Kid. You know what I mean? That type of shit, you know what I mean? People don't realize the shit that there were DVDs in Iraq. Wasn't the best quality.
We all
Two
had
for
that,
one.
We all had that 1 terabyte hard drive. I won't say any more about
Oh
it.
no, I didn't want. Funny, we actually were able to contract. We had our own satellite dish to get internet.
Yeah.
We were able to. We had a bunch of comms guys, and we had to run Ethernet line to everybody's shoe so we can have internet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, dude, great memories, man. Something that civilians don't get the chance to Well, it takes a special individual.
It does.
Serve our country, go abroad, and do the mission, and find a way to have a good time, connect, and create amazing memories.
Exactly.
You had a fucking ass in your ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, that's fucking awesome. Well, shit, dude. I don't want to keep much more of you, but I really want to touch on this.
Sure.
We talked about briefly when I was with you about a month or so ago. You had mentioned to me that you got to, in a way, make your mark. You know what I mean? You're not going to be a superintendent forever. You're not going to be a greenskeeper, whatever it may be. But you have left your mark to where you had many iterations of this product. And I love the fact that when I came into your office a month ago, I was like, Dave, I think you'd appreciate this. Again, folks, I was at the GCAA and we all looked at a rake. So I appreciate something like this that's innovative, that potentially can help the golf course industry. I mean, golf course maintenance and agronomy and everything. So Chris, what do you got here, brother?
Yeah, so
Perfect.
I call this the Air-Rator, okay? So, you know, my job as a superintendent is to find ways to make our job easier.
Of course.
Right? And I've always wanted like a portable air fryer, basically, to just do little spots, like maybe have an area that's the size of this table.
Of course.
Well, it doesn't really make sense to load up a 648 on a trailer, drive it all the way out, drive it all the way back, spend, 45 minutes to an hour just to air fry the size of this table. So, I started looking at options, but I couldn't find anything that allowed you to reuse tines, old tines or whatever. Essentially, I just created this. It's spring loaded so that it kind of protects your turf.
Yep.
So it won't heave your turf. You go down 3 or 4 inches,
of course,
come back 3 or 4 inches. You can kind of bounce it on the ground.
Yep.
If you put Air-Rator, air-rator.com.
Yep. I'll make sure I put it right here. Yep.
There's a couple videos of it working and how good it works. So you can see it's really dirty because we use it. My guys use it every day, and it still works just fine. It actually, awesome. The more wear that it gets, the easier it gets,
of course,
and the
especially
better
with the spring. Of course.
Right?
So, but the biggest thing, like you just said, is like each one of these are interchangeable.
Exactly. So you just back out the screws with an Allen wrench,
yep.
Drop the tine. This will run up to a 5/8 tine. So the bigger the tine, the less you can use it once. But these are just like the standard Ninja or Warrior tines, or
yep.
It's the Viper tines. There's all sorts of brand names, but
no shit, man.
It's it'll run any time with a 3/8 mounting diameter.
Okay. Which
is your standard Toro shank or whatever.
Yep.
And then it's got pipe thread. So
yep.
on the top, so you can buy your 1/2-inch pipe at whatever length you want. So
of
if
course.
You're taller, you can buy a taller one.
Yep.
And you just spin it in the top. You got a T and 2 more and
of course.
Some little grippies.
Of course.
And you got a tool.
So are you actually actively not selling this yet? You going through the patent process and everything right now?
So I'm patent pending.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm patent pending. And then, I am basically at the point where I'm ready to open to take pre-orders, essentially. So what I want to do is take pre-orders. I want to judge the interest in the market and just see, is this something that's viable?
Yeah.
I have a bunch of superintendent friends, and several of my mentors I've sent it to, and they say, yeah, they're like, absolutely.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, one of my mentors, I said, hey, should I sell this to standard, or should I sell this to Site 1 or
yeah, of course.
Whatever?
Of course.
And he said, well, why not just do it on your own? That's a great idea. Why not?
Wow, why not?
So I went through the whole process. I got distribution set up. I got manufacturing set up.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I built a website. I kind of just tinkered with it all. So
yes.
we got to the point where I think I can open up the website, start taking some pre-orders, and then...
that is amazing.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, exactly.
The fact that even too, when you showed me, you went through a lot of iterations. You went through a lot of test models. So what was the process then from when you're like, okay, there's nothing on the market right now for this that would help make our jobs as a superintendents and greenscrapers so much easier. What was your time, your iteration from your first prototype till now?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the first one, I literally took tines and I welded them to a stick, piece of rebar, and I just went out, and that's where I realized that there was an issue, right? So when you have a tine block without this piece, right, without the turf guard on it, and you stick this in the ground, if you stick it into an area, which the areas that we air fry typically have weak turf, right? If you stick this into an area with weak turf, it's going to rip turf out with it.
Yeah.
It's going to heave the roots. It's
Of
going
course.
to pull them out. That's where this like turf guard comes into place, right?
Yeah.
So when you have like a 648, they have a tying guard
That's right.
on the back of them,
That's right.
So it keeps that turf from heaving when you're hitting it. This does the same thing, and this is a pretty weak spring. It doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take a lot to, to protect your turf. You just have to have something that's given that positive pressure.
To keep it back, exactly, to keep it down.
Exactly. You just need a little bit of positive pressure. The other thing it does really well is it doesn't disturb the surface. So in the videos on the website, you can see like the turf doesn't move. You get just perfectly straight little air-fied holes.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, shit, man.
you can do solid tines. You can do coring tines. You know, as long as they're side eject, you can run from, like I said, a pencil tine all the way up to a 5/8.
Wow, dude.
So this is really good. So I send it out with my guys. I call it the Greens Bible, but I have one employee, his job each week is to hit the check boxes in weak areas. So we put some top dressing on them. We fertilize them. We'll air-fy the edges so that those roots can work their way across. And we'll close over, right?
Yep.
So I think it's really important to have something like this if you don't have like a nursery green or you're very limited on being able to plug.
That's right.
The other thing, you won't like this part. The other thing this is really, really good for is I made it the exact size of a cup. So when your amazing cup cutter leaves a high plug, you just tap it 3 times, 4 times with this, it's gone. It's regular turf because you're removing a core.
Yeah, that's right.
And you put a high plug in its place. And you don't have to go back and get a cup cutter. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to cut it out of the ground.
Exactly. Yeah, because my biggest thing is like if there's a high plug that either done by myself, obviously I'm not perfect, or another greenskeeper. I mean, or maybe there's more moisture, whatever can push that up.
Yeah.
I hate disturbing the grass because even though there is that high plug, I don't want to disturb it.
Yeah, because you got to stick the cup cutter back down. You got to lift it up, and you have to dig it out. You have to restart the healing process all over again.
Of course.
You can just tap this 3 or 4 times because it's removing material.
That's the same fucking size as a cup.
It puts it back down. So,
dude.
Then with low plugs, you can actually hit around the low plug, and you can use that sand to fill in that low plug.
As if you're top dressing.
Exactly.
Dude.
So it's
you didn't mention that the last time we saw.
No,
when I spoke to you.
I told you weren't going to like that part, you know. but
that's
it's a
an
great
awesome
tool, right?
But that's an amazing, dude. I mean, of course, I'm sure you've done. I've played a lot of golf courses, and like I said before in the past, I don't like to judge other golf courses when it comes to that, to an extent.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? But dude, as myself, like I know, like I'm very blessed that I have a certain amount of time. I get almost 4 hours to cut cups and to take care of the greens, right?
Exactly.
And when if I see an old plug, I'll still test it to see, okay, is that too low? Shit, I got to get in there and add a little bit of dirt because I want. As a golfer, we like to make sure it's flush.
Yeah, no ankle breakers.
No, exactly. I don't want, even if it's a little bit of a dim, as long as I'm right there. That is awesome, buddy. That is fucking awesome. Dude, I'm so happy for you. The fact that I really hope this takes off because that's Chris Warrick putting his stamp on the golf industry.
Yeah. No, there's a couple ways to do it, right? You create products to make everything nice, or you create a really nice like coaching tree, right?
Dude, yeah.
And I'm trying to do both.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to help guys get to where I'm at, and I'm
of course.
trying to make some tools that make our life a little easier.
100%, man. I hope maybe one day you're at the GCA with that, man.
So I tried to sneak in this year. I just wasn't successful, but I was, you might catch me next year sitting in a booth in the back corner in a chair.
Or if you have
a chair,
or if you have another one and there's already talks with me being at the PGA show, well, it's not much for the PGA show, but at the GCAA, having Tink there to do live podcasts, I'll be more than happy to have this there with me.
Yeah.
I'll be more than happy we can do a live thing, whatever, to showcase that. That is freaking remarkable, man. That's awesome, dude.
So if anybody's interested, obviously on the website, you can send me an email through the website.
And I'll make sure I put the website right here. I'll put it right here down on the bottom so that way people can get in contact with you. And obviously they can, any questions they might have, or if they want this in pink, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
If they want whatever it may be.
I mean,
so are
this
you doing
is just spray paint.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to find, this will just be the normal color to match, right?
Of course.
But I'll get the grips and make the T-handle. We'll just have a standardized size that we send out.
Of course.
The
biggest thing is this, that you can go anywhere.
Everything except for the grips came from Ace Hardware right
of course.
here. So that's the idea, right? one of my biggest pet peeves as a superintendent essentially is like I get sold equipment from distributors that they're the only one that makes that
Proprietary.
piece,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So I have to go through them to get the piece. I could care less, right? I'm only selling this. You buy the tines. You're already buying the tines. So just reuse the tines if they have a little bit of life in them.
Shit,
You
right?
know, I don't need to sell you tines. I'll sell you this piece and the handles. If you need a longer handle, go to Ace or go to Home Depot.
Yeah.
Buy a 1/2-inch pipe that's a
Of
little
course.
bit longer.
Of course.
You know, nice and easy and keep it smooth. You know, these are Allen key. You know,
Yeah.
you can actually, every part here that's not
Of
this
course.
or this, you can buy at a hardware
Because these were
store.
CNC. This was
CNC,
all. Yeah,
correct,
of course.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, from this to the there and this.
Yeah.
I mean, but again, you're making everything
Exactly.
that. Dude, that is awesome, Chris.
Yeah.
I was so excited when you first told me last time, and again, and now actually, the fact that I can help out with high plugs. I mean, there's a lot of tracks that's easy to do.
Yeah,
Pit-
you have one guy, especially like a superintendent, you're kind of going around doing your checks
course.
in the afternoon.
Of course.
You always see a high plug, and if you don't have a cup cutter with you, you're like, oh, you know,
Yeah,
I
of
got to
course.
drive all the way back, go get my plug. But if
Yeah.
you keep this in your cart,
Dude, yeah.
you know, high plug, all right, done.
Done.
Don't have to worry about it anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that is awesome. Dude, Chris, I'm
I'll tell you
happy
this.
for you. Yes, sir.
When I did the first iteration with the spring,
Yeah.
I was really hoping that when I went out to test it on the green, that it was going to be really bad because then I could just give up on it and
Of
not have
course.
to deal with it.
Yeah.
And it worked so good and it was so easy. I was like, oh no. I was like, oh no. I said, this has to be a product now.
Yeah, now it's just because you make it so easily, A, the fact that it's the size of a cup, but two, the fact that they're interchangeable. We have these in the shop.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? If you were to take it out of your already aerator now,
Yeah.
oh, these are a little bit old, whatever, you could just slap them in there on the
Exactly.
dude, man, that's awesome, bro.
Yeah, and they're just being able to go up to a 5/8 is your standard coring time
That's right.
when you're airifying greens for their summer airification. So, like
Big old boys.
Yeah, I put 2 of them on here. I had 3 running while we were airifying, and it worked fine with 3. But
Yeah.
it works really, really good with 2 5/8, and you can just sit there and bounce it with 2 of
Yeah.
them, and it's you don't have any issues with the these like Ninja Tine type tines, the smaller coring tines.
Of course.
It'll run 8, but if you did 6 or you did 4, it would be just completely effortless. you
Yeah.
know. 8, you kind of have to give it a little oomph, but
Yeah.
if you took a few off, it would just be butter.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Dude, that's good shit, man. Chris, I'm very proud. I won't sound like a daddy, but I'm very proud of you. Dude, but that's awesome. The
Man.
fact that you saw something that needed to be addressed that can be easily used at every fucking golf course.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
that is awesome, man.
I think it's something that my boss. I showed it to him, and I asked my boss. He's a regional agronomist, and he pretty much covers the state of Florida.
Yeah.
And I asked him about it, and I said, "Is this something that you would encourage people to buy?" And he said, "I think that's something that every superintendent should just have on the shelf at least, right?" 'Cause
Yes. Well,
just-
you just said it yourself. Like, I can't be out there on the golf course all day if I miss a high plug, and the super's already there till 2, because I'm only there till 11.
Yeah.
But I mean, if he's already just doing his rounds, he's like, oh, Dave fucked up on this one. Let me, whatever it may be. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
Whatever it may
yeah.
be. He can adjust whatever and just, or not just the plug, but again, you have a weak spot that needs to be aerated. You don't need to bring out your 640 to go do it.
Exactly.
It's right there.
That's like an hour, you know.
Oh, it's a hassle,
you
man.
gotta
I
get
see
it,
what my
gas
guys,
it,
when my buddies do
drive
it.
it, unload it.
Yeah,
reload it,
and
drive
it's
it
a
back.
whole waiting for it to catch up to you, and then
Yeah.
you absolutely, man, dude, that is, Chris, that's awesome, man. I cannot wait to share it. So again, I'll make sure that I'll put it like here 3 or 4 times your website, so they can contact you. You can do some pre-orders, and then hopefully one day we'll see it. Fucking booming, man.
Yeah, I just hope that it gets out there, right? Again, I'm just trying to make tools that help make our job a little easier.
Of course, man. Of course.
I'll probably come up with some other tools here and there, but we'll see what
Leave your mark,
happens.
man. Leave the Warrick lineup.
Yeah,
That's what it
there
is,
you
man.
go.
To leave that legacy. Well, shit, man. Is there anything else would you like to talk about or mention or anything like that? Is there anything on your mind about being a superintendent? Or is there anything that you want to see change, or you're just, this is it, man?
Yeah, I think the only thing I wanted to bring up a little bit was just making sure, like, if other superintendents are watching this, right, I think it's our responsibility once we get to this point to, like, train the next guys and to help mentor and bring people up, right? So, and you've met a few guys that work for me.
Yeah.
And I really encourage them to, like, get into some online programs, do some turf classes and stuff like that.
Of course.
This is one of those industries where when you love it, you love it really quickly. And,
of course,
it tends to find people that are, kind of lost, you know, and looking, just, hey, I just need a job for a little bit. And
of course. It's funny. So the one guy that came with me, the GCA, folks seeing the pictures, Dennis Marquez, the fact that he took so many notes, he was right on it. And even I had a text the other night because when I was finishing up my weekly episode, I'm like, hey, but did you write that down? I was like, I thought you were paying attention. I was like, no, but and Dennis was right there. He had his notes because he was all about it. And it's just amazing the fact that I think a lot of guys, you find those guys that they love this shit.
Yeah.
They're out there, they want to learn, and we have guys like that at Tampa Palms, and you guys have like guys like Matt.
Yeah.
You're the one kid that was here for hours on end, we're just bullshitting.
Yeah.
And he is excited to be outside and put his mark on the golf course.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I just encourage those guys. Like Dennis is a great example because I got him to join a turf program, online. So now he's studying, and when he completes that program, he essentially is eligible to become an assistant, right? And he can start a legitimate career in turf and not,
not just be a greenskeeper. Because I'm for myself, I'm not, though I love it in my where I'm at in my life, I don't need that.
Exactly.
I enjoy where I'm at now, but if you have the opportunity to do it, greenskeepers, you have those superintendents that want to push you because these guys are going to be here forever, and golf courses are going to be here for a long time.
And there's never been a lower entry into the market.
That's right. I mean, you guys started young.
So,
dude,
when I became an assistant, I had a bachelor's degree, and everybody I know that was applying for assistant jobs had at minimum associate's degrees. Yeah. Right. Now you can become an assistant, making salary,
with just some certs,
with certifications online. So there's a big void, there's a big opening to join. So
of course,
if you have the ability to do it, you should definitely jump on it now because that void is going to shrink at some point.
Of course. And the fact that they realize that you don't need to get a college degree, spend all those thousands and thousands of dollars getting into debt to eventually you're going to work on a golf course. When you just get these certifications, make those amazing networking with other superintendents, other greenskeepers and such like that, to where, man, you guys can make some good money and make some great, connections. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And, the best perk is you can call up other superintendents and go play their golf courses.
100%, man. Oh, it's amazing. Well, shit, Chris, I want to just say, brother, thank you again for wanting to be back on again, dude. I cannot wait to share your product here that you made to help greenskeepers, superintendents, the job so much easier. And the fact that you freaking made it and was on your F.U.C.C podcast. Yeah. So when it's up and about, understand, I'm just saying, I'm just telling you, just kidding. But no, man, I really do appreciate you wanting to be on. Thank you again, sir, for serving our country and continue to do so. I will make sure again for like the 5th or 6th time, I'll put your product right here, your website, for those that can do a pre-order. If you guys need contact with Chris, you can easily do that on the website.
Exactly.
Right, absolutely. But shit, man, I know we got places to be. So with that being said, this has been your friendly Abash Cup Cutter. Don't be shy. Come say hi. Dude, brother, again.
You're friendly on